Is it true that all crystals that end in "ite" are unsafe for water? Well, not really. This is kind of a huge oversimplification. There are different levels of water safety for minerals, some of which being more severe than others. The least severe thing that can happen when putting a crystal in water is that it just becomes more dull or loses its shine. Another thing that can happen is the stone becomes more fragile and susceptible to being broken, but this usually requires the stone to be left in water for a really long period of time and not a quick rinse. Some stones are even very fragile and can begin to dissolve in water. On the more severe end, some minerals may release harmful elements or gases when left in the water, which could potentially be harmful or toxic. For example, labradorite ends in "ite". Many people say that it is not water safe because of this. However, the only thing that's really going to happen here is the stone may become more dull, susceptible to cracking in the future. A quick rinse poses no threat to the stone or your health. Halite is another mineral that ends in "ite", and this is a type of salt. And if the stone gets even a little bit wet, it can begin to dissolve right away. This is an example of a stone that you don't want to get wet at all because it will ruin the stone, but it's not going to be harmful to your health. Chalcanthite is a copper mineral that is not safe for water because it can release copper, which can be harmful even if in the water for a short period of time. This is because chalcanthite is water soluble, which is another thing to consider when determining if a mineral is water safe or not. Water solubility is the ability of a mineral to break down or dissolve in water. Some minerals may contain harmful elements in their composition, but they're not water soluble. For example, aquamarine contains the element beryllium, which is toxic. But aquamarine is not water soluble, so this element is not going to leach out into the water. It's also important to remember that these elements are bonded together in the crystal structure, so they're not just going to rub off on your hands when handling it. Plenty of minerals that end in "ite" are perfectly safe to be rinsed in water. The vast majority of crystals that are listed as not water safe are just because they may dull or possibly crack if left in water for hours and hours, but they're not harmful. Almost all crystals are perfectly safe to be given a quick rinse. It's important to look up each specific crystal to find out if it's water safe or not, and what exactly makes it water safe or unsafe, because it can vary widely. But one thing is for sure, it's never a good idea to drink any water that has had any crystal soaking in it. Even if it's a crystal that's considered safe for water, you do not want to be ingesting water that has had a mineral soaking in it. So definitely avoid these types of crystal elixirs.